Welcome back to another edition of Strictly Baseball right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports. It's been a couple of weeks since we've had a chance to talk with head coach Steve SAKOSITS, the team coming back from a Florida trip in which they went 3-3, and now get ready for a Thursday home matchup. We'll talk about that change in the schedule and, of course, what is coming up here in the next couple of weeks as well. Now, as of today, I would imagine you'd rather be down in Florida than back here in Indiana. We've gotten 4 to 5 inches of snow, and I know that kind of puts a little bit of a damper on your workout plans this week, but go back to Florida. Talk a little bit about the trip, a nice long road trip down there. But as you said last week, the week before, that it's a chance to bond for your baseball team.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a good experience for us to obviously go on the long trip down there, spend 5 days playing in some warmer weather, playing in some good competition, really just focusing on baseball, not having to worry about anything with the classroom or anything with that. And we kind of struggled a little bit at times, but again, we played some good competition. We learned from hopefully some of the mistakes we made down there. And again, coming back at 3-3 in the past, that would be probably acceptable. Yeah. But in our case, with what the expectations are and what our goals are for the season, we need to make some changes and some fixes here pretty quick for us. As we look at next Friday, the 30th, is our conference opener against Bluffton,
right.
And that's, as I told our team when we met on Monday for our first practice back from Florida, it's going to be a sprint, not a marathon. With 27 games, you can have a bad weekend and still be okay. In the 18-game conference season we're going to play now, we can't have lapse in judgment and those types of things. We need to make sure we're focusing on pitch one, inning one, out one, all those things to get ourselves correct. And I think in Florida a little bit, our focus and attention span at times just wasn't as good as I'd like it to be.
What do you attribute that to? Because it seemed like to me here for your first 11 games, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought you focused very well for the most part. What happened down there?
Yeah, again, it was our first time being away from home, so that could be one of the things. Another thing, too, is we were bound. You're going to lose a game here or there, and then how do we rebound from losing our first games there? We played nicely against a good Washington college team who ended up their Florida trip going 9-1. The only loss was to us. So, they're a very good ball club, so we beat them 3-0, and then the next day kind of had, not a great one against Albright in the morning, but ended up coming back and winning the afternoon game. It kind of went back and forth. We win the Northwestern game and then lose the afternoon game against Western Connecticut, and then ended up with a very close game against Kenyon, and that's where kind of where a lot of those mistakes we had made kind of got exposed a little bit, because we gave them their opportunities, and we tell our club it's us beating ourselves is what we want to make sure we don't have happen.
Right.
We're going to run up against a team that's going to swing it well. What Western Connecticut State did, they swung it very well against us. We had to tip our cap to them. They just were hitting the baseball well that day. But in close games against a team that's very similar to a lot of teams in our conference in Kenyon, losing a 4-2 ball club when we had, I think, 12 hits that day. I don't know how many guys were left on base. But we had a lot of opportunities that we just we weren't able to cash in on, and we gave them opportunities to score their 4 runs. And so I just wasn't happy the way we ended it there. And so we as a coaching staff and we as a team kind of are going back and having to refocus on what we need to do for us to be successful. And we really want it to be where we're not beating ourselves. We're going to go up against good teams that are going to play hard against us. And as we tell our guys, with the record we have and the success we've had in our program here recently, teams are going to bring their A game against us every single time. We're going to see a lot of teams number one, where in the past we might have seen their 3 and 4 because they said, we can beat Earl. Now it's we're going to show them their best. And we expect that from everybody we play, and I hope that the other teams can expect that from us as well too when we play them.
Steve, I've known you for a long time, and I think the consensus has always been, as you said, just don't beat yourself. Give yourself a chance to win and play smart baseball.
Yeah, it's as we tell our guys, it's Earlham baseball versus Earlham baseball. If we play our game the type of way we want to play, we're going to be very hard to beat. Yeah. If we become lackadaisical or we become timid in the way we want to play, that's not how we're going to be successful. So we got to make sure we're being aggressive. Even with 2 strikes, we told our guys hitters now, we want to have an aggressive 2-strike approach. We don't want to put the baseball into the umpire's hand where he's making that decision with 2 strikes on us, where we're hoping it's a ball, but it could be a strike. Right. If that's the case, we got to be aggressive on that pitch, either foul it off or put the ball and play hard. So we can either see another pitch, or we're giving ourselves a chance for the defense to make a play against us. Again, the way we run out of the box, which is we're going to play hard, we're asking them to field the ground ball, pick the ground ball up, throw the ground ball, or throw the ball across the infield for the first baseman to catch it, all within us running hard out of the box.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I was supposed to turn my phone down. Hey, by the way, better to find out about some of these things now than, as you said, before you get into the conference.
Well, that's what the whole goal of non-conference is. The whole goal is to, put yourself in a situation where you've seen a lot of these situations early in your season. So when you come conference, you can say, okay, remember we faced this against this team, or we were down against this team, we came back. And we did see a lot of that in Florida. We saw we were able to come back and win a last inning, at bat against Northwestern, and again also see where we leave pitches in the middle of the plate. We can be hit hard just like anybody else.
All right, tell you what we'll do. Walter Talcott, by the way, named the pitcher of the week. We'll talk about Walter, his outing, and how he's doing so far this season, heading into the next contest. I don't know when he'll pitch again, but we'll find out about that. And, of course, there is a change in the schedule as Heidelberg's going to come here on Thursday. We'll talk about that and what's coming up over the next couple of weeks in just a couple of moments right here on Strictly Baseball at Radio Troy Digital Sports.
For the past 35 years, Van Vliet Insurance has built a reputation of bringing a personal touch. That's because at Van Vliet, it's all about you, your needs, your life, and our town. Along with providing quality coverage to individuals, families, and local businesses, we're proud of our community and the opportunity we have to protect your future within it. Van Vliet Insurance, an Erie Insurance representative. Hometown professionals at work for you.
Welcome back again to Strictly Baseball. Head coach Steve Sakosits with us again this week as the Quakers get prepared, I hope, for a Thursday contest against Heidelberg. Game was moved from Heidelberg from Tuesday. Talk about the conditions of why that was moved here.
Well, just with the weather we had yesterday, with the expectation of what we did end up getting, but also we were going to have winds up their area from 27 miles per hour with 35 mile per hour gusts.
Wow.
So it wouldn't have been ideal for us to play, and we had some other opportunities to do it. We're hoping that we can get it in at our place here tomorrow. It really depends on the snow melting, and if we can get some help on plowing the field a little bit. But then also, if we're not able to, we have another date in mind that we would be able to go back to their place, which it was their home game. To be able to play there, but we can only control what we control. We've had a great week of practice so far. Our focus has been very good. Today we're going to be inside. We're going to focus a lot on our offensive part of the game. Yesterday we did a lot of defensive things. Today we're going to do a lot of offensive things. Yeah.
By the way, looks like Thursday should be a pretty good day. I think sunshine is the forecast, and with the field that you have, that'll melt pretty quickly. Coach, after Thursday though, you have a little time off, just from a standpoint of games played. Talk about that gap in the schedule there and how that happened.
Just with when the conference moved to the 18 from the 27, we only found out in September, so we had scheduled 13 non-conference games, not knowing if the 18-game schedule was going to change or was going to go to it. We thought, again, we had 27 conference games, 13 non-conference. When we had to move down to 18 conference games, we had to find 22 non-cons. We added more in Florida, and we just happened to have an open weekend because this weekend we would have actually been playing conference in the past, right, and not with that. So in 2019, we do have a game for what's upcoming this weekend in 19, but in 18, we do have this weekend off. So we will play next Wednesday at home against Grace, and then we open the conference up on the 30th on Friday against Bluffton. So it's fine. You look at some teams around the region, they've played only 7 games. We've played 17. So we've had a lot of opportunities to get out there. We're almost halfway done with our season, and it'll be good. We do want to play this week, but we can only control what we can control. So if we're able to, that's awesome. If not, we'll be able to find that date another time.
Walter named the HCAC pitcher of the week, and he threw well in your first game down in Florida.
He did, and that was the Washington game I was saying that we won 3-0 against a very good ball club, a club that I'm assuming is going to compete for their conference championship and possibly for a regional berth. He can be so dominant at times. When everything's working for him. I think the numbers you saw there after the 3rd inning, they might have had a runner off their second base, and they went down with consecutively in 3 outs every inning, and I think it was from the 7th inning on. So he was just dominant as the game went on there. Didn't have a lot of strikeouts. He only had 5 for the day, but he was able to get weak contacts against them, and they were probably putting the ball in play earlier than they wanted to because they didn't want to get to his 2-strike pitch. So he could set a tone, and we're very excited to have him healthy and ready to go for the whole season for us.
Thursday, talk a little bit about what you'll try to accomplish. It'll probably be kind of chilly again on Thursday. It's a 6 o'clock start time. From a pitching standpoint, what do you want to see?
We're gonna throw Matt Radka, who had one of our wins down in Florida. Was a freshman. He's thrown very well for us, and we're kind of figuring out who are going to be our conference guys. We're going to probably throw a lot of guys that game. Same thing against Grace as well too, to get some more innings for our guys and before we get into conference. But Matt's going to start this one for us, and we're going to have all hands on deck to be available for us on the mound for us to get work in. Same thing offensively. We're trying to figure out what guys are going to be guys for for us and what guys are going to be, platoon players and role players and all those types of things. So we're still trying to figure that out for a few positions. So we're going to kind of use these non-conference games for that, and honestly, that's what it's meant for.
Yeah, and like you say, before you know it, the conference season will be here, won't it?
Yes, it will be, and it's going to be, as I said, a sprint, and we're very excited. The conference itself is playing very well. I know Franklin team only has one loss. I think pretty much every team except for maybe 2 or 3 are all above 500, and have played against the OAC and the NCAC and had a lot of success so far early in the season. So again, it's going to be a dogfight just like the conferences every year, but we're hopeful that if we can make the adjustments that we need to make, we're going to be there at the end.
Want to see the Quakers play on Thursday night? 6 o'clock is the start time, and then again not till next Wednesday when they'll take on Grace in another non-conference matchup. Coach, always good to see you again, sir.
Troy, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. And again, we'll see you next week right here on Strictly Baseball and Radio Troy Digital Sports.